Good morning. My name is Mike Young, and welcome to actually our first video blog post. And today's subject or title will be What Attention Span? Is the end near? I've been reminded that my articles and posts and blogs sometimes are too long. I try to keep them to about a 5-minute read or sometimes less, and then I go longer. But then I try to break these articles and posts into series, which each would be under a 5-minute read. Still, it seems a lot of folks don't want to or can't stay focused on complicated matters such as we're going to be talking about for more than just a few minutes at a time, and I get it. So, the information I'm sharing today is important, and so important that I have to try again. So here we go. Again, please. Bear with me because this will go beyond our 5 minutes, but going forward, I'll be careful. Number one, we, that is everyone on our planet, have entered into a strange new world, if you haven't noticed, where for us conservatives and traditionalists, white is considered to be black now. And good is called evil, and evil's being called good. Have you heard that? Sweet is sour, and sour is sweet, and the truth is a lie. And lies are being accepted as a truth, it seems. You can see it everywhere. It's in the written media, government policies, university programs, television programming. It's in our military and our churches. It's called woke by some. Men are being relegated to followers and to look like buffoons. They're being managed and ruled by females in the media. Women are being elevated and portrayed as brilliant and tough leaders. They'll dispatch a man twice their size with a flip of the wrist. Men are being portrayed as feminine, and women are more masculine. Boys look like girls, and girls look like, well, whatever they choose, it seems. Now, beyond these social aspects are the corporate and political ramifications of this movement, and they're being called by some names, such as a New World Order. George W. Bush used that term during his presidency. You've perhaps heard the term the Great Reset or globalism or our new global community, as some are calling it. Others are calling it by a more nefarious name, such as the One World Government. Maybe you've heard that. But who is it that are saying these things and using these names? Well, let me name a few. One is the United Nations. They're the leading proponent. Also, UNESCO, which is part of the United Nations, it's the United Nations Educational and Scientific Cultural Organization, roll that off your tongue twice if you can, which claims to be a specialized agency of the United Nations. And they're aimed at promoting world peace and security through international cooperation in education, art, science, and culture. How's that working for you guys? But they are making headway. Third, the World Economic Forum. Now that's an international NGO, non-governmental lobbying organization based in Cologne, canton of Geneva, Switzerland. It was founded in January 1971 by a German engineer and economist, Klaus Schwab. You got to read about this guy. He's quite a fellow, whether that's good or bad. The American Democrat Party is the next one, especially President William Bill Clinton, using those names, and George W. Bush. I know he's not a Democrat, but he has cozied up and acted more like a Democrat as he calls himself a Republican. You need to read about that. I have links provided on the webpage that will give you that information. It's eye-opening stuff right out of the Congressional Record. And finally, the United Nations Agenda 2021 and Agenda 2030. These are the ones using these names. These are the organizations. And so what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you what the big deal is. The globalist movement has been progressing ever so slowly under a different name and guise, but it's been since the earliest writings of the book of Genesis of the Bible. Now, if I haven't lost you on that one, stay with me. You'll find this interesting. That was written over 6,000 years ago. And now, however, in the 21st century, we have the technology necessary to attempt and accomplish the things that were written about but were unthinkable in the year 4000 BC. Next, the main characters in this effort, in our day and time now, are known as socialists, Marxists, and communists. You've heard those names. and their named objectives are lofty sounding, and it would seem beneficial to the world if they're implemented, and they're being implemented. But their methods require strict compliance, which will undoubtedly, as it always had, lead to dictatorial and despotic means of enforcement. You see that all throughout history. These four named entities are now publicly announcing completion and success, or even bragging. They'll have it all done by the year 2030, and hence the name Agenda 2030, which is a complete outline of what they're doing. And I have a link for that on the website for you as well. They're quick to point out that the United States Treasury, and I'm going to quote here, United States Treasury will be used to complete these goals. The recommendations of the Commission on Global Government, when implemented, will bring all the people of the world into a global managed neighborhood by a worldwide bureaucracy under the direct authority of a minute handful of appointed individuals and policed by thousands of individuals paid by accredited NGOs. Let me take a break and tell you, this has already been done. There's over 300 of these offices, locations, and officers in the United States, in major cities and neighborhoods, implementing these plans. We return to the quote. They'll be certified to support a belief system, listen to this carefully, which consists ideas that are foreign to the American experience and ignores other values and ideas that are precious to the American experience. End of quote. This is a big deal. Well, where did this come from? Well, as I said earlier, the things were foretold in the Bible perhaps as early as 6,000 years ago. It was in a form that you may not recognize in today's language, but it's there. And I try to break that down for you on another webpage that we'll be going into later, not today, in a sequence. The Bible lays out a progression from the beginning of time until the conclusion of time. You've heard those terms before, I hope. From the Alpha to the Omega, as the Bible puts it. It's complete with details through metaphors, similes, imagery, and direct quotes. It's voluminous, it's complex, but it's extremely and frighteningly precise. Then around about 4,100 years ago, the Bible records the building of a tower called the Tower of Babel. It's a direct foreshadowing and a perfect metaphor for what was, what is to come, and is what is now at hand. The coming of the times of distress, also mentioned in the Bible, or the tribulation, small t, we are told about in various accounts in the Old and New Testament books of the Bible. But the book of Daniel gives a complete outline of what is to come, hidden in actual precursor events that have already occurred and some yet to occur, and in mysterious prophecies known as Daniel's 70th week. I give a complete thesis on this on another webpage that I'll provide for you going forward. This period began around the time coinciding the small t tribulation, the days of distress, around the time of Jesus' birth. Now, 4 of the first 5 seals of the tribulation have been opened consecutively, concurrently. They overlap, and they've been intensifying as time has passed. Then about 75 years ago, the 5th tribulation seal, and by the way, there's 7 tribulation seals. The 6th tribulation seals moves us out of this time of distress and into a time such as the world has never seen. It's one of the most horrific things that the world will have ever experienced. But anyway, the 5th tribulation seal appeared to be open, and things prophesied begin to accelerate and take on recognizable form. We have seen the spirit of Antichrist, which is mentioned, began operating around AD 1, and we anticipate now, in the not too distant future, or maybe very soon, the revealing of the Antichrist himself. We're now being caught up in a long prophesied one world government movement, which is Marxist. It's a Marxist net with tentacles. Time is short. And then finally, 4, the breaking of the 6th seal is the capital T tribulation, also known as the end of days, the great terrible day of the Lord, the wrath of the Lamb, is very near. We can't tell the day or the time exactly. We can tell by the events, the seasons. And then finally, much of the foreshadowing or prophecies from the Bible have been overlooked. And I want to make this point here. They've been overlooked, misunderstood, or ignored in these last days. And people talk about them, they complain about them, they try to sensationalize it, And sadly, theologians, preachers, and Bible teachers are writing books and trying to profiteer off this urgent matter that we should be being told about and being prepared for. But instead, we're being told, just watch and buy my books. Well, they're coming to pass, and they're coming into focus for those who have eyes to see. I hope to help here. Number 4, where do we go from here? Well, in brief, and I guess we've already lost the in brief, we'll be seeing the breaking of the 6th tribulation seal next. It'll be a time of cosmic terror, cosmic disturbances. The sun will grow dark, the moon red. There'll be a cataclysm from the heavens, asteroids hitting the earth. It's yet to come. But during that time, during that 6th seal, we'll have a slight interlude after the cosmic cataclysms begin. And in that time, we'll see the sealing of 144,000 from the 12 tribes of Israel in preparation to be on the earth. Some say as witnesses. The multitude of the tribulation then will occur. It'll be gathered around the throne in heaven. I will give you the clear scriptural references. It's so easy that you can't miss it. You'll bump into it. So be wearing a helmet. It's being ignored a lot by traditional evangelicals. But this is the rapture. And then finally, the 7th seal is broken, and there'll be silence in the heavens for half an hour as things prepare for the next round of judgments. Then come the trumpets, Revelation chapters 8 and 9. The first trumpet will be hail and fire and blood coming from the heavens. The earth will be burned. The second trumpet, something like a great mountain burning, and it will hit the seas and destroy a third of the creatures in the seas. The third trumpet, a great star named Wormwood will fall from heaven on the rivers and the springs of the waters. And by the way, Chernobyl, the nuclear accident in Russia years ago, translates to the word wormwood. I'm not sure exactly the significance there, but it is quite a coincidence. The fourth trumpet, a third of the sun and the moon and the stars will be struck and darkened. In the fifth trumpet, a bottomless pit will be opened, and a star from heaven will fall from earth, and a key to the bottomless pit will be given to him, and there'll be horrible things. A furnace, the sun, locusts will come out of that furnace and torment people. All except those who have the seal of God on the forehead. So that 144,000, there'll be some come to Christ up to this period. But the sixth trumpet sounds, and we'll hear about the army from the east. And at that point, no one else will be saved. They will stiffen their necks. People on earth will stiffen their necks and reject God. Then the seventh trumpet marks the beginning, second half of the 7 years, second 3.5 years. And we'll see the beginning of the great third woe. In Revelation 12, we'll hear about the red dragon, the male child Christ, and the angel Michael. In Revelation 13, we'll be introduced to the dragon, the beast of the sea, and the beast of the earth. And there'll be a chronology of the Bible leading up to this point. Revelation 14, there'll be a scene in heaven where the Lamb and the 144,000 are on the Mount Zion. We'll have a vision of the angel of the gospel, the doom for worshipers of the beast, and then we'll see the reapers on the earth. Revelation 15, there'll be another sign in heaven. It's be great, marvelous. 7 angels have 7 plagues, which are the last. These are the bowls. Let me run through those for us quickly. The 6 bowls. The first bowl is loathsome sores and malignant sores. Second bowl, the sea becomes as blood. The third bowl, the rivers and springs became blood. The fourth bowl, the sun scorches men with fire. The fifth bowl, it becomes dark across the face of the planet. And the sixth bowl, the Euphrates and its rivers will dry up. And then the seventh bowl, Armageddon, and it's done. In Revelation 17, we'll hear about the doom of Babylon, victory for the Lamb. Revelation 18, Babylon will be fallen. There'll be a lament for Babylon and a fourfold hallelujah. Revelation 19, the marriage of the Lamb, the coming of Christ, and the doom of the beast and the false prophet. In Revelation 20, Satan will be bound, freed for a short time, and then doomed forever. And then there'll be the judgment at the throne of God. Revelation 21, we'll see a new heaven and a new earth and a new Jerusalem. And Revelation 22, we will see and hear about the river and the tree of life. And the final message in Revelation 22:6. And he said to me, these words are trustworthy and true, and the Lord The God of spirits, the prophets, has sent his angel to show his servants what must soon take place. Amen. Then I'll give you a link called After All These Things. And it'll give you information on what to do, how to be informed, how to get ready, and how to stay ready. You have links you can go. We will cover this in future series as well. These articles are for an overview. It's called The Rapture Revealed. And the second is a book I've written called The Journey Along God's Plan to Perfection. It's yours to read for free. I recommend you do that. We will cover it in the future. And I have articles with lots and lots of details, 45 articles that cover the end of the age, the Antichrist, rapture, tribulation, Armageddon, end of the earth, and the heavens by fervent heat, and so forth. And also 44 articles about the spread of socialism, the rebirth of communism in our world today, one world government, Marxist globalism, the Great Reset, Agendas 21 and 2030, the World Economic Forum, United Nations, UNESCO, and more and more. If you care to get into some of that, and I recommend it. Well, thank you for joining me. I look forward to our next time together. We'll be watching From the Wall. Your brother and friend, Mike Young.